And hey, it's Tuesday, November 10th. We are marching towards one of my favorite holidays, Thanksgiving Day. But I am here with my good friend, Craig Lustig from Anything Grows. Yes, you're here for the Tuesday edition of Litvak Leadership Live. How are you, Craig?
Sean, I'm doing great.
So Craig is my brother. I almost messed that one up. My brother from another mother. Craig and I have known each other, I don't know, 20 years maybe. And we found out at one point that we both belonged to the same fraternity in college, although at different colleges. So there was an instant bond between us, wasn't there?
Absolutely.
That fraternity brother bond that transcends geographies, that transcends everything. It's when you find someone else who's part of the brotherhood, you automatically like them. It just has to be. So yes, so here we'll have a minute of shameless promotion. If you're not a subscriber to Litvak Leadership on YouTube and on Facebook, do me a favor. Go over there during the show, after the show. You can have multiple windows open and hit like or hit subscribe, depending upon where you are, and join the group. I would love to have you. You'll find out more about what we're doing here and our interview process. So, all right, that being said, Craig, as I was promoting this, it was from law in New York to Louisville and plantscaping. And I don't know if we've ever talked about this. So what was the genesis of going, yeah, we're out of the East Coast, we're moving to the belt buckle of the Bible Belt, and I'm going to buy a plant company?
Well, there were a few steps in between. So in New York City, I was practicing law with a large law firm. Young associate. My life was not my own. I was a slave to the corporate master, in this case a law firm. We had a child. Our daughter was on the verge of turning 1, and so we were making a decision to leave New York City. We were thinking about moving to the suburbs, either north or moving east. And I realized I was already working really long hours. It was just going to get even more complicated, adding an extra 2 to 3 hours on my day. So we made a decision to leave New York City. I almost took a job with a law firm in Chicago, but realized that was pretty similar to practicing law in New York City.
That would have been the same thing.
Not a whole lot different. So
yeah.
My wife is from Louisville, and I know she was probably hoping that she would get me here, and this was the right time. Really kind of a big quality of life decision. So I practiced law here for, I guess, about 3 years, and decided practicing law was really it was time to do something else. I wanted to be a little bit more in control of my own destiny. I wanted to create my own opportunities. So I was in the healthcare business actually for about 5 years, doing some consulting work in healthcare. Running a buying cooperative, had a bunch of partners. It was kind of getting a little difficult to get some things done I wanted to do. So I was looking for other opportunities to do things on my own. And this interior plantscape company, Anything Grows, was available. And a person that talked to me about it, he had to talk to me about it numerous times. But finally I said, yeah, I think this makes sense. I think I can make a go with this. And that was in 1999 as we were turning over to the millennium, and there were concerns about what might happen, and the answer is nothing happened. Nothing happened. We were all overly prepared, and our phones worked, and airplanes still flew in the sky, and everything was good.
Yeah, there was talk that airplanes were going to fly, hit the ground, and the lights were going to go off, and it was just going to be bad, and it was nothing. Absolutely. So you said there were multiple conversations. What attracted you to, because I've seen Anything grow and diversify over the years. I mean, when you first bought it, was it basically just interior plants in office buildings? I mean, what attracted you to this?
No, I wouldn't say that, but I will say that I was familiar with the concept and the businesses that were doing what Anything Grows, what its core business is, and that is, as you say, taking care of plants in office building, hotels, hospitals, etc. Because when I practiced law in New York City, I had somebody come into my office, me, a lowly junior associate. I had a plant in my office, and
Yeah.
somebody came in and took care of it, and we had a conference floor, and people took care of the plant. So I was familiar with it. But really, the main attraction was the fact that this is a contract driven business. People pay us every single month a fee to take care of their plants. It may be once a week, it may be every other week. So it is an annuity driven business. There is a constant source of revenue. I don't have the pressure every single day to go out and sell like some other businesses that they earn their revenue when they only sell a product or a service.
Hmm.
So that was really the main attraction for me, was, that constant source of revenue that I knew very clearly would be able to pay any and all the bills and still be profitable, even if we didn't sell a single plant or among the other services that we now offer, because there are a lot of other things we do now that we didn't do when I bought this business in 1999.
So what would you say is the number one thing that you learned over the years from, you had obviously driven and thought hard and worked all those years to become a lawyer, and you've now been for 21 years having your own business, being an entrepreneur. What's the top thing you've learned?
I could tell you what's been the most difficult thing, or what's been the easiest thing. The easiest thing we do are selling plants and selling the other various products that we have to offer. The most difficult thing we do, the most difficult thing I do, is really having to manage and motivate people.
Ah,
That by far is the single most difficult thing. I mean, I'm the owner of the business. I am internally motivated because everything I had was on the line when I bought this business.
right.
So I was motivated every single day. I had a small family that was growing. I got four children, two of whom are married, one of whom who has a child. I still have two more to go, but so that's a lot of motivation right there
Oh yeah.
to be able to provide for your family. But as I said, just taking care of the people was the hardest thing for me. Just keeping them motivated every single day. So in terms of what's the most important thing, being in contact with your employees or team members and knowing as much about them as you can and being interested in who they are and what they do.
So how do you do that without, you know, you want to build relationships with them, but at the same time, you've got to keep a certain level of separation because, you might have to have a constructive or difficult conversation or even terminate someone at some point. How do you, wrap your arms around them in friendliness, but keep them far enough away too?
Well, I mean, look, you want to do everything you can to be liked, and you want to do everything at the same time to be respected, and you will garner respect when you do those difficult things. When you tell people that they may not be doing things properly or they need to do things a different way. Um, Performance reviews, just making sure they're doing the right things every single day and just continuing to go over those. Being a small company, that we are, even at our largest headcount, which is during the holidays, which really have us Christmas holidays, which have started. We started installing Christmas today. We're really only 13 or 14 people. So it's easy for me to be very in touch with and know
Mm,
everything about our employees. And that's the good. And sometimes it's the bad because, there are times when we've had to, be the First National Bank of Anything Grows and help people out because, that's important to me. And fortunately, we're able to do it. And with the size of the company that we are, it's easy to carry off those things and do it effectively.
So I am just kind of surprised to hear that you're a company of 14 people. When I think about all of the buildings you're in, all of the locations you're in, and with the holidays coming and maintaining the plants and how everyone always looks so neat and clean, it's surprising it's only 14 people. How do you pull that off?
Well, I mean, I have to give a lot of credit to the people that I bought the business from, because they really had all of that infrastructure and they had all of those processes in place. So I started with a very strong and successful business, and just didn't change a whole lot of things. We've obviously taken advantage of the use of technology, which has definitely helped things. But you do things lean and mean, as best as you can. And again, technology accommodates that. Span of control between management and the people that report to them, and it's just worked out well. Just you bring people on when you need them. We don't really have a tremendous amount of excess capacity. We definitely do have some excess capacity, and we push the limits of that at times.
How has the business changed over the years?
Well, I could tell you, when I first bought this business, we primarily did two things, and it's our core business today, and that's interior plantscaping. We design, we sell, design, and maintain live tropical plants, in office buildings, hotels, hospitals, as well as residences. And then we also do full-scale holiday decorating. So we'll do the same thing that we do with plants. We come in, we design for a particular space for the holidays. We either sell it or rent it. We store it. So it's basically a turnkey operation. What we've done since then is we've now added, kind of what we call urban or containerscaping, nice displays that you see outside in nice pots. Think about 4th Street Live. Think about all the pots that you see around the city. We have a contract with the Louisville Downtown Partnership. There's about 150 pots in the urban core that we take care of. The other thing that we started doing, two other things, green walls, which is either live plants on the wall, or it could be preserved moss, or people call it a moss wall. And we also do green roofs. And about 4 years ago, we got into the exterior landscaping world, which is really, probably our fastest growing part of our business right now is exterior landscaping.
So does that include snow removal? Because in Louisville, snow removal would be, huge, since it barely snows here.
Just like Wisconsin and Chicago.
Yeah.
Snow removal, what we found is people are looking for turnkey solutions. They're looking for somebody to take care of their grass. They're looking for people to mow it. They're looking for people to treat it, with chemicals, fertilizers, etc. They're looking for people to do the fall cleanup and the spring cleanup, mulch, etc.
Wow.
They're looking for leaf removal. They're looking for landscape services, and yes, they're even looking for snow removal. So if we can't do it, we will arrange to have it done through strategic partnerships.
Very cool. So tell us, here, let me throw this up on here. All right. So here is one of those green walls you were talking about, or moss walls. Tell us about this.
So this is actually an installation that we just completed. I guess it's about 3 weeks ago. The company is here in town. They're called Veland. Even though I'm saying Veland, which sounds like a V, it's a W. Their name is on top of the building at the what basically is the second office building that was built right behind the paddock. So we were brought into this by the project manager and also a design firm. They knew they wanted to do well. They weren't sure if they wanted to do a green wall with live plants, or if they wanted to do a moss wall. They ended up doing the moss wall, And initially, it was only going to be that front-facing portion. I don't know if you can tell from this image, but it actually wraps around the corner.
Yes.
And
Yeah. Right here, it's wrapping around.
exactly. And and it's got some molding or framing on the top and the bottom, and there were various iterations of what that was going to look like. Eventually, there's going to be some signage coming out. I guess probably about the top third of that wall. So though how that was constructed was
Wait, what?
initially
What's going to come out of the top third of the wall?
letters. There's going to be
Letter.
there's going to be a slogan that comes out of the wall.
Growing?
I really I don't know. Yeah, it's not going to be Veland, but it's going to be a motivational phrase
Okay, I want to make it bigger, but I can't.
Kind of defines who they are. So that's going to be very striking and very, very interesting. We're anxious to see how that turns out. But there was a great deal of planning that went into this, because this was, oh, there you go.
Yeah.
This was basically plywood. I think there were 7 panels of plywood that were each,
Here we go.
I think they were about 8 feet tall and 4 feet wide. So this wall itself is about 220 or 230 square feet. It's like 18 feet across by 10 feet tall, and then it wraps around the side. And so the design itself was laid out on the plywood. It was hand sketched essentially, and each particular area had different components of, you can't really tell, but there's really 5 different components of this moss wall. Some of them are dark green, some of them are light green, there's a bright green, and then there's 3 different compositions of this moss. And that was all attached to the plywood. The plywood was then attached to the drywall. Behind the drywall was actually more plywood, so everything was basically, it was just nailed in, and we did our thing on top of it. Probably 80% of it was complete that we came into the building with. We had probably the remaining 15 or 20% that we had to do on site, in addition to some touch up along the way and some improvisation, because there were some seams that were just a little bit unsightly, that we had to do some additional work to. But we were very happy.
Did you get watered?
No, it's preserved moss. So it's the lion's share of this is reindeer moss, which is found in nature. Much of that wall is found in nature. I think there's only one of the components that's actually artificial, and it goes through some sort of a preservation process, which we have no part of. But when it comes to us, nothing needs to happen to it. It does not need to be treated with anything. It doesn't really need to be missed. As long as the HVA system, in the building or in the home works the way that it's supposed to, meaning that there's a certain amount of humidity that stays in the air, this moss will retain its appearance, its features, and its durability. We did another wall down in Bardstown, where in the summertime, there was about a 3-week stretch where there was no rain. It was dry. Their HVAC system was not working the way it was supposed to, so it got a little bit dry. Some of it started fading just a little bit, so we ended up having to spritz it a little bit with some water, and that basically it springs back to life.
So this is alive. It's just been preserved. I guess I don't understand. It sounded like it was alive. Then it sounded like it was more of a treated product, like when people take their pet and have it stuffed, which is so creepy. So is this alive?
It was alive. It was harvested in nature,
and
then it was preserved.
In
other words, it's not artificial in any sense of the matter. It is something that was alive that is now essentially frozen in time.
Got it. Still very cool. Oh my.
It is very striking, to say the least.
So,
Because
so how delicate is something like that? If someone wants to put that in, I mean,
each clump, each individual piece literally has to be attached. So while it is delicate, it's also very durable, and you can do a lot with it. You can cut it, for instance, you can tear it, but it is a very labor-intensive product to do this particular kind of a moss wall.
so
There are other moss walls where they basically come on a panel that you can purchase as a panel that's already pre-planted, if you will.
So did you come up with this idea for, green walls, or is this somewhere that you read about it and said, hey, we should start marketing this?
Well, I mean, our industry, no, we certainly did not come up with it. This is green walls and green roofs are something that our industry recognized was another product that we can sell to the interior world. Mainly, that's where it started, at least for us. A lot of this you can do on the exterior. You're probably
Okay.
not going to be doing it with moss, but if you've ever been to the Apple Store in Oxmoor Mall, which unfortunately right now is closed, they
Right.
have two massive green walls to the left and to the right as you're coming in off the parking lot. That's a different installation because those are live plants, and obviously they have to be taken care of.
Interesting. So obviously, when you first started in your business, this wasn't something that was out there.
No.
How do you verify, or who do you bounce off of a new idea to see if it'll pop before you invest in it?
Well, we've been very fortunate to be a part of. I mean, we take advantage of all educational opportunities and various trade associations. Um, Most specifically, we're involved with an organization called the National Interior Network. We were invited to join this organization, and it's an organization of independent companies like us. We're all independent owner operators, and we get together multiple times during the year, 2-3 times a year. We learn together. We do financial benchmarking together. We buy together, so we're doing contract negotiation. So many times, the things that we're doing, that we're bringing to this community, other people around the country have already tried and have already succeeded at it, or maybe they haven't succeeded at it, but they've learned from it and they've got another iteration of it. Being in the Midwest, things don't happen here first,
No.
and we have the benefit of learning from what happens on the West Coast, what happens on the East Coast, and eventually it makes its way here to the Midwest. So we've taken advantage of that. We certainly go to market every year. There's a massive show that we attend every year down in Fort Lauderdale, the Tropical Plant Industry Exhibition. So we learn about new products, whether they be new varieties of plants, whether they be new containers or vessels, or even live walls or live roofs or moss walls. So I can't take any credit for this. The only credit we can take for this particular wall is really the fact that it is extremely artistic, and
It's
just
gorgeous.
love the way it turned out. Client was they had a certain expectation, but this way exceeded their expectation.
So how has your business had to adapt over the last eight months? I mean, with people not in the buildings, it's not like you all went and pulled all the plants out. Where you were obviously deemed an essential business and you were still out maintaining them?
Correct. We were deemed an essential business or an essential service. We had live plants that we had to take care of. It was a challenge at first because there are some companies, yes, you're absolutely correct. Their offices weren't open, or they may have had 1 or 2 people in the office coming in sporadically. And we just almost begged and groveled with them to allow us somehow to get access to the office to take care of their plants, to keep them alive. And so we made arrangements to take care of plants in the evening. We made arrangements to take care of plants on the weekend. And most people came along with that. There are some people that said, you know what, and we took obviously all kinds of CDC precautions, and they just said, you know what, we're not really comfortable with you coming in. And we had to explain to them, our horticultural service is guaranteed, meaning if anything happens to the plants, we replace them at no additional cost. And we basically said to our customers, the only way we're going to be able to honor this guarantee, or at least partially honor it, is if
we maintain them.
Is if we maintain them, exactly. And in some instances, we couldn't maintain them, but we convinced them to keep paying us. And they did. A lot of people, most people, in fact, continued to pay us, even those customers which would not allow us to come into their offices. And that's a real credit to who we are, what we do, and the confidence that they have in us.
So how often do you go in to trim, pull out the dead leaves, water it, put the wax on it so it's nice and shiny?
It used to be, and that's kind of an interesting question, because years ago everybody used to come in once a week and take care of the plants. They'd water them, they'd clean them, they'd rotate them, they'd dust them, they'd trim them, they'd do whatever they needed to do to make them look good. Well, the reality is, as people began to find out and experiment and research, plants really don't need to, by and large, plants don't need to be watered once a week. And it's actually better for their health if you allow their root balls to dry out a little bit. Well, and the only way that can happen is if you water plants less frequency.
Well, let me tell you, the plant in my office then has got to be happy as can be, because
right.
I have a mother-in-law's tongue, which for the whole reason is it's really hard to kill those.
There you go. That's right. So what we found out was, and we implemented a little bit of technology to do this. We provided some sub-irrigation on the bottom of plants. We added some things to it to allow the plants to go a full 2 weeks between watering. And
wow.
And the reality is the plants look just as good, and in some instances they look better. The amount of replacements that we made really did not change. And our horticulturalists were able to take care of more plants and more accounts in the same amount of time that they did before, because they were able to stretch their water frequency out. So it was a very strategic decision at the time. It's not something that I implemented. It was something that our previous owners implemented, and they were among the very first to do that in the industry. And now, and I'm not saying they were the first, they were among the first. And now pretty much everybody does it, for reason of the health of the plants, as well as to, effectively use your people as best I can.
Awesome. So as we're winding towards the end of our time together, but I'm not going to give you the end question yet. So you guys also do holiday decorations. So I've put your website up, your phone number up. Tell people why they should be hiring you to do their holiday decorating.
So they can enjoy their holidays, so they don't have to worry about putting up their decor and let a professional do it for them. We design it, we install it, we take it down, and we store it for you. And the only thing you have to do is pay a bill. It just makes your holidays a little bit more enjoyable. You don't have to worry about going out and finding a warm weekend if you want to do things outside. And you don't have to do it inside your house if you don't want to either, that there's a service out there that can do it very well for you.
So do y'all hang lights too?
We do a number of homeowner associations, entryways to subdivisions. We do some private residential houses as well. If a house has got some very tall trees, we've got some strategic partners that we work with that have the more appropriate equipment, more so than we do, to get those lights up on the tall trees. But yes, the answer is we do that as well.
So I mean, I've seen you guys in a building. Actually, it was. Can I say which building it was?
I don't see why not.
Okay, so I saw you guys building the tree at Kindred
Yeah.
one year, and it's a sight to behold watching this enormous tree go up in their atrium.
That is one of the more fun installations that we do, and in fact, on our website, there's a time-elapsed video of that tree going up.
Oh,
From a couple of years.
If I would have planned ahead, but I don't want to search for it while we're here. So, okay, so it's the last 2 minutes now. When people come to the end of this video and they go, okay, I want Craig's bit of wisdom. I want him to send me off with something that's really going to make me think and encourage. Go.
It's really very simple. Take care of your people, and they will take care of your business.
I think that's the shortest anyone's ever gone. That's great, though. It makes sense. It's about the people. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been my friend Craig Lustig, president, owner of Anything Grows. Craig, thank you so much for being here on the show today. I really appreciate it, and your support, because I know you're a subscriber too, because your comments pop up occasionally. So it's good to see. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
It's been my pleasure, Sean. I always enjoy speaking with you, and to have this conversation in front of some other people is good too. It's a lot of fun. Thank you.
Awesome. So everyone, enjoy the balance of the day, and be blessed. We'll see you tomorrow. Oh, and tomorrow's Veterans Day, and we've got a very special guest. So join us on Veterans Day tomorrow.